For the second week in a row, the Saturday Night Thunder Grand National Series stays in the Northeast, and this time it's the Irish Hills of Brooklyn, Michigan. This is the Michigan International Speedway, a 2-mile circuit, one of the biggest and the fastest in all of stock car racing. Great to have you all once again on this lovely Saturday night. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing all of tonight's action, and we're getting set for a 90-lap, 180-mile event as qualifying is on the way with less than 2 minutes remaining on the timing charts. As it stands, a winner of 3 races so far this season, Jordan Kuntz is at the top of the board. He's only shown up for 3 events out of the 4 so far in the campaign, and he already has 3 victories. He's once again going to be the title favorite early on. However, Vinny Tigner is keeping him honest, and the gap from first to second in qualifying is only 49 one-thousandths of a second. So gaps are tight at the front of the field. Connor Asbell is going to qualify 5th. He destroys his car immediately after. And now Michael Deitch gets on the way in his number 17. It's the Wheelin' Chevy Camaro tonight. And it's going to be Deitch, currently scored in 13th, as he comes across the line one final time at the exit of turn 4. Deitch going to be coming right through the Geico restart zone. And at the start-finish line, he'll move up to 7th. So he should have a solid top 10 qualifying performance already locked up. Chris Tripp is going to be scored in 13th right now. It's going to be Kyle Jackson now in 15th position, and Matthew Weeks is on the way. Of all the drivers that we're looking for tonight, the perhaps best Jordan Kuntz, Matthew Weeks is one of them. He is the defending winner at this circuit in the trucks and looks to be the fastest driver, save for Jordan Kuntz, as he puts himself up into 4th. It looks like he's going to park it, and that will be his qualifying run. Alec Daffin, same goes for him. He'll be in 5th tonight after a dismal performance at Watkins Glen. Daffin returns and is looking for a rebound race to an overall poor start to his season. Michael Deitch is going to take his number 17 down to the apron through turns 1 and 2. Now, Michael Deitch scored in 9th, going to hang on to that top 10 performance in qualifying and making it down and into pit road to end the qualifying session. Deitch, the final driver to take to the track, but Jordan Kuntz is once again top of the board, and it's going to be the number 99 grabbing the pole position in tonight's qualifying session. The Irish Hills 180 has a pole sitter, and more than that, it's got a complete starting grid. More than 20 drivers have registered for tonight's session, so we're looking for a packed house here in Michigan. And how about we get to know that starting grid starting right now? Without further ado, this is your starting lineup for the Irish Hills 180, 90 laps of racing coming to you in less than 5 minutes. And Jordan Kuntz, who's won his past 2 races and 3 of the last 4, he's got the pole position, 38.826 for the driver to the number 99, and only 49 thousandths of a second off. That is Vinny Tigner, and he finds himself in 2nd with a 38.875. Jackson Van Pelt, who was leading the championship standings going into Watkins Glen, he finds himself starting 3rd tonight. He's still in hot pursuit of that championship lead, and his chances are still not over here. 38.882 for the driver who starts in 3rd. Matthew Weeks is one of the drivers to look out for after a podium finish at the Glen. He'll start 4th, and Alec Daffin will round out the top 5, returning after an early incident at the Glen from the front row. Henry Kaloff is a new primary sponsor in 213 Simware. He's going to have his brand new car take to the track starting in 6th, and Connor Asbell will start 7th tonight with Kenneth Gurrell, position number 8. 9th place will be occupied by Michael Deitch, and to round out the top 10, it'll be Mac Grab in the number 53. Then from there, 11th place will be held by Connor James. Kyle Jackson, returning for the 2nd time this season, will be starting in 12th, and Patrick Jetner will be in 13th in the 00. James Nelson's going to be 14th spot on the number 75, 39.276 for Nelson, and Curtis Barron concludes the top 15 as he finds himself with a 39.301 just ahead of Chris Tripp. Tripp's going to be starting in 16th with a 39.317, and to be Tyrone Yo in the 17th spot, 39.707 for Tyrone in that number 2. Carter Casey's going to be lining up 18th, but he won't be racing with us tonight, so you move then on to Dylan Wheeler, who scored in 19th spot, and Shane Wheeldon joining his teammate at Hurricane Esports. He'll be back in the cockpit starting 20th in tonight's race. 2 other drivers include James Bowden, who's going to return to the track tonight in the number 52, and Tyler Seaver is the 22nd and final driver on your starting grid, the number 77, starting on the outside of row number 11. In the Irish Hills 180, this is your starting grid. And just like that, back to the track for 2 minutes of extra warm-up. We mentioned Henry Kaloff before we got the show going tonight, and as you can see, brand new paint scheme for Kaloff. He's got a new sponsor, 213simware.com. If you want Henry Kaloff merchandise or merchandise of over 100 drivers, 213simware looks to be the preferred destination for Kaloff and his team, as he's going to be coming down to the pit road tonight. He just launched his new line of merchandise with the company 3 days ago, and now hoping to get some more traction. If you're a Henry Kaloff fan, that's the place to go for all your number 63 merch, as Kaloff takes it down to the inside of pit road again. Jackson Van Pelt is going to be wiggling off of the turn 2 into the backstretch, 4 points behind on the championship lead now. The battle between your top 3 in points is separated by only 18, but once again it is Jordan Kuntz, your points leader, despite missing a race. So as it stands, Jackson Van Pelt's going to be on the back foot once again as he comes down on the pit road. He's got a lot to catch up on after, of course, not finishing in the top 5 last week at Watkins Glen, so it's room for improvement here, but he's still very close in the title fight. If Jordan Kuntz were to have an off night, there is a chance he'll take that points lead back. Vinny Tigner scored 3rd in the championship standings, and he's 18 points back on Jordan, and he takes to the track for his first warm-up lap of the night. Everyone making final adjustments here before we get things going again, and this track and Auto Club are both synonymous with high-speed 2-mile racing. A lot of on-throttle time, but you're not completely on the pedal all throughout the track. You gotta manage that tire. Of course, working the tires over, your fuel load as well. It's a packed track, but it isn't like Daytona or Talladega. We had our season-ending event at Auto Club last season where Jordan Kuntz won after a last lap wreck. This track is very similar. Drivers will be bunched up until the very end of the race, and sometimes that leads to frustrations boiling over. Michael Deitch coming in this time by. He'll make it down to pit road, but it looks like Henry Kaloff, who is already on pit road, is the fastest driver in the session. Kaloff, top of the board in second practice, and this concludes our warm-up for tonight's event. It's going to be time for the Irish Hills 180. The race in just a few moments will come alive, and the green flag is set to drop in less than 3 minutes. 90 laps of racing ahead of us tonight. Michigan International Speedway coming to life with Jordan Kuntz at the top of the board again, and Kuntz is going to find himself with familiar company all around him. The top 3 drivers in the point standings will be qualified first, second, and third, and Matthew Weeks, after a podium finish at Watkins Glen, he'll be starting in 4th position. Alec Daffin then in 5th. So your top 5 veterans of this league. Henry Kaloff actually having the least time of any of these drivers, or Jackson Van Pelt as well, both being in their 2nd season of competition. Otherwise, it's veterans like Kuntz, Daffin, and Tigner who have been around for multiple seasons now. Jordan Kuntz is a 2-time champion going into this season, and he has his sights set on perhaps a 3rd consecutive championship as he returns to Shaw Racing for 2024. Looks like just about every driver on the field is already on the track. We'll be waiting right now for Dylan Wheeler, James Bowden, and Tyler Seaver, but we will not be seeing Carter Casey as the number 91 is going to be our race control for tonight's event. You can see the virtual fans have packed the grandstands to this point, and the drivers are getting ready to roll. It's going to be a lot of strategy tonight, keeping in mind 90 laps, and we've seen some very clean races here before. There's a tire set limit of 5, so you have 4 extra tire sets in pit road, and of course the one you start with. So right now, drivers are already beginning to plan out that strategy. 90 laps, 4 extra tire sets. You could go about 22 laps apiece on each tire set to get to the end without, of course, running out. Might see some drivers play it a bit riskier, some drivers a bit more conservative. It all depends on whether or not we see green flag racing. Last time we went to this track, no cautions. So this is a track that breeds great racing, and I'd expect to see that once again. A lot of familiar contenders compared to last season. We do have a few newcomers, but the bulk of this field, they are veterans. And now the iRacing official pace car is set to grab a gear and take it out of neutral as we are set to go off the pit road for our one and only pace lap of the night. Drivers on the move for the first time, Jordan Kuntz and Shaw Racing. Now going to be in the inside line through turns 1 and 2. And this would be Jordan Kuntz's 4th win of the season in 5 races if he were to take the checkered flag once again tonight. He's been the dominant man to this point, winning at a road course, a short track, and a super speedway. Nobody has been as solid as Jordan Kuntz throughout this championship chase. And it's not much a chase so far. We're only through 4 races. But either way, head and shoulders above the competition. Jordan has truly shown that he's got the chance to go for another championship, but I don't think it's going to be easy tonight. Jackson Van Pelt lines up just behind, and this is a track where slipstream is a big deal. So if you can stay behind your closest competitors, you'll be using a lot less power, maybe wearing out your tires a bit less, and definitely using less fuel. So for someone like Van Pelt, someone like Matthew Weeks or Vinny Tigner, the big strategy is to stay in close range of the leader, no matter who it may be, and make sure you're there on those pit stops. Green flag or otherwise, those will set the tone for the race. 90 laps of this fast track, and they're going to fly by as the iRacing official pace car heads down a pit road. It's time for Jordan Kuntz and Vinny Tigner to lead the field to the green flag. Barney the flagman waves the green, and we are underway in Michigan. Welcome to the Irish Hills 180. Jordan Kuntz in control. Across the stripe, it's going to be Jordan Kuntz leading the way, then Jackson Van Pelt. Vinny Tigner drops back into 3rd. Fans in the chat room already, we see Henry Kaloff, also Connor Asbell, Donald Vincent, and Ashley Goebel. Thank you all for stopping by. If you've got a favorite driver tonight, be sure to let us know in the chat room. We'd love to, of course, shout out your favorites as we kick off the night of action here in Michigan. As we mentioned, Jordan Kuntz gets off to a hot start once again, and Jackson Van Pelt, he's keeping him honest so far. But this is already a time to question how aggressive are these drivers looking to be in the opening 10 or 15 laps. Van Pelt now going to be on the back bumper of Jordan Kuntz, but if he's aggressive here, he might be shredding those tires no matter whether or not he's behind the number 99. It's so early in the race, though, where it might not matter as much, but you got to start understanding how to drive against your competitors. Mostly single file. We'll see in the back of the field, Patrick Gentner going to be on the top side. James Nelson going to be able to make a pass down low, and the back half of the field looks to be a bit closer right now. Front runners, not so much, except for Van Pelt. Jackson goes up to the top side. He's looking for the race lead already. Goes way up top. He's going to scrape the wall and almost come down into Vinny Tigner. Now, luckily, the draft is going to carry him through once again, but Jordan Kuntz, he sees his competitors always are trying to get up to him, but in this case, already going very close to the limits and almost facing those consequences. I'll tell you that much. Very close for Jackson Van Pelt, and we'll ride on board with him right now to show you how close he is to those limits. Now coming down the backstretch, this is Jackson Van Pelt's onboard perspective. You're looking on the roof camera right now, and he's certainly nearing the edge of control, just trying to keep the speed up right now in the draft. But I think that most recent lap coming out of turn 4, it got to him there. So a bit slower as he comes off the exit, and he's now going to try to use that pull down the front straightaway to give him a chance into 1 and 2 and set up for a pass. Gets a bit closer on the entry, tries to lunge it deep, gets to the bottom side through the middle of the corner, just can't go anywhere further, and stays in second for now, as you already see a battle brewing just behind. Alec Daffin's going to try to fend off Matthew Weeks, and so far he's been able to do so successfully as he goes into turns 3 and 4 again. Alec is running in 4th, right behind your podium sitters, and Matthew Weeks is in 5th. He's biding his time right now, not as aggressive as someone like Jordan Kuntz. Kuntz right now going to be up to the top side no longer. That's going to be Jackson Van Pelt taking the room, and there's going to be a neck-and-neck battle at the top of the board here. They're side-by-side for the race lead, and not too far behind, you're also seeing Connor Asbell go to the top, looking now for Matthew Weeks. Jonathan Bowen in chat, rooting for Connor tonight in that number 72. He's going to be running 6th right now, and he has a great view of the race leading battle. It's going to be Van Pelt with a slight advantage as they enter turn 3, and right now Jackson looking to lunge to the top of the board. He's clear of Jordan Kuntz, and just like that, new race leader as we come across the line for lap number 7. It is Jackson Van Pelt, top of the board, and he's got the lead up in front in Michigan. Alec Daffin getting closer for 3rd right now, and you can see Matthew Weeks and Connor Asbell, they're putting on the pressure as well. Your top 10 drivers are organized single file. Nothing too crazy in terms of their position swaps so far. I think it's going to stay that way for the opening laps here as drivers begin to figure out that strategy, expecting at the very minimum a 2-stop strategy, perhaps seeing pit stops every 30 laps here. And you're now going to see Vinny Tigner. He's going to go up top. He's trying to look for some room up high with Jackson, but it's now Jordan Kuntz right back low. They'll be neck and neck at the line, and the advantage is still down low as it's Jordan Kuntz getting the lead at the stripe. Jackson Van Pelt, they'll be even into 1 and 2. See there, Jordan's going to once again lunge into the corner, and he's going to be sent way high as a result. Look at how far he washed up the corner there, and going to lose a lot of momentum, and gives it right back to Jackson Van Pelt. You're going to see right there, Connor James comes out of line, nearly slips off the track entirely, but keeps it all together. And now Jackson Van Pelt is going to be put back in a second here, has to bide his time again as they're getting closer just behind. Kenneth Gurrell, Henry Kaloff, in addition, Matthew Weeks, all racing each other tightly right now for what looks to be the 6th spot. Gurrell gets up to the top side now. He's got Connor Asbell pushing him through. Matthew Weeks has Henry Kaloff right behind him, and it's going to be 2 by 2 right behind the leading battle for 3 straight rows. 9 laps into the 90, and they're already keeping each other very close in the heart of the pack. And you'll see Weeks wiggles once, Kaloff stays right there with them, and all of a sudden they are going to be 3 wide with Connor Asbell up top, and they're going to be side by side as Connor tries to take it high and stay inside of the top 5. Weeks stays low, Kenneth Gurrell goes through the middle, and they're side drafting each other like crazy in this opening segment. Look at how close they are. Matt Grab now in the mix as they go 3 wide once again. And of all the drivers here, Matthew Weeks is in the most trouble because he's dropped down into 9th from 4th on the board. He's now fading back big with a lot of pressure here, and it sets him back now behind Matt Grab. In jeopardy of going behind Michael Deitch as Curtis Sabarin also got through. Weeks is going to be falling back, seeing a lot of other aggressive drivers right around him, so he's going to lie back and let these drivers do their thing up at the front of the field. Alec Daffin gets up to 2nd, so he's going to make it by Vinny Tigner and Jackson Van Pelt, and this is the night that Daffin might be looking for here, a podium finish. It will be his first of the season, and getting him back on the roll, his last podium coming in Season 5 of the Truck Series. So Daffin getting back to grips with these Xfinity cars. He's one of the better drivers on this entire platform when it comes to these Xfinity cars. He was dominant in the Integrity Ignite Series, and in the final 5 races of 2023, he was on the podium for every one of them. 2 wins, 2 second-place finishes, and his one and only third-place finish was the worst run of that entire month-long stretch. So Daffin clearly knows how to work these machines, and his only experience in the Integrity Ignite Series at Michigan came earlier in the year. Michael Stroll was the race winner, but Daffin led the earlier laps as he found himself very quick prior to the pit stop strategy. Now, Daffin still finished second in that event. However, he has a chance right now to break through and become the dominant man if he can just get by Jordan Kuntz. But Jordan has that clean air. He's had it for 12 laps already, and that is quite an advantage as these races progress, getting used to that clean air and finding out how to defend lines, not only with your car, but with aerodynamics playing a factor. These drivers are at high speeds all throughout the track. Just because they're not always on the pedal doesn't mean they're going slow. They're going 191 at the line, and they get up to about 195 before breaking into turn 1, and they carry a lot of speed even still. They're going at about 168 as they go through the middle of the first 2 turns. So just because they're not going to be on the throttle all the time doesn't mean they can't get close to each other here, because Alec Daffin is now on the back straightaway and on the back bumper of Jordan Kuntz, looking low just a bit, tries to find some room but gets blocked again, and you could see Jordan Kuntz throwing that air onto the front bumper of Alec Daffin's Chevrolet. At the line again, Daffin's going to have to settle for second. Jordan Kuntz now going to see Van Pelt in the rearview mirror too. They're 1, 2, 3 breaking away. Connor Asbell gets up to 4th, and it's the best Connor's looked all season long. Could be a breakthrough run for Connor Asbell as well. You can see he's now going to be just behind the podium sitters. Meanwhile, Kenneth Gorell and Vinny Tigner are also going to do battle. There's Vinny on the bottom and Kenneth on the top. It's the Twisted Tea, number 57, looking to make a move around the outside and trying to get into the groove here, as Vinny, who started in second, has already fallen back into 5th and would not like to fall any further. Biggest loser up at the front of the field in terms of position has been Matthew Weeks so far from 4th to 8th, but now Tigner's in jeopardy of being split 3 wide. Kaloff looks low, and it looks like he will take the bottom side, but not quick enough to lunge on Vinny, so he's going to stay behind Vinny Tigner and get a spot from Kenneth Gorell. That moves Kaloff up into 6th for his brand new team with 213 Simware, and he's got the new sponsor represented very nicely so far in the opening laps of this race. Look out for Kaloff here as the night goes on, already putting some power down as they're side by side for second again. Looks like Daffin just barely made it out. Let's ride on board with your 3rd place driver, Jackson Van Pelt. And you can see now how Jackson Van Pelt is managing through very minute adjustments through the corners here. You want to carry as much speed as possible. Turning harder shreds the tire, loses speed, and you of course do not want to end up in the wall. Van Pelt already had a brush with the turn 4 wall before. You would not like to experience that again. We're going to stay on board through turns 1 and 2 and go silent again. Try to listen for the tire grade, and it almost sounds like sliding through the corners, and he's losing grip and losing rubber from the tire. Let's take a listen. It's a very faint sound under the roar of that NASCAR Xfinity Series engine, but you can hear it if you listen close enough. Jackson Van Pelt is definitely scraping the tire more and more every lap, and he's definitely pushing hard to keep these positions here, so expect his tire fall off to be somewhat major as these laps progress. Right now, every driver on the field has fallen off at least a second in terms of their tire wear, and their speeds are slowly but surely getting lower as a result. But Jordan Kuntz is still the leader either way. 18 laps in at a 90, he'll be coming back to the stripe, and he's got the race lead still. Jackson Van Pelt is going to be in 3rd, right behind Alec Daffin. The closest battle on the track right now looks to be between 7th, 8th, and 9th. Gorell's going to be in the 7th position, Matthew Weeks in 8th, and Mac Grab is in 9th, but now it's Matthew Weeks looking to make a move way down low. He'll cut to the bottom side, look for 1 position, doesn't look like he can go for 2 though, because Kaloff is still going to hold himself in 6th. Gurrell wiggles up top, has enough room to recover, but he's going to lose a spot either way, and Matthew Weeks gets back into 7th place. Weeks might be waiting here for drivers to slowly wear out because he knows these drivers are racing aggressive, so why not bide your time, stick with the draft, and maybe use up the tires a bit less as opposed to really risking the equipment you have and damaging your run with these tires as the night goes on. Weeks is going to make it by clearly through Kenneth Gurrell. Mac Grab is going to be in 9th now. Michael Deitch is in 10th. And then you have to look back to the second pack, which includes James Nelson and Curtis Sabern, not to mention Connor James also there as well. And then you really spread back to guys like James Bowden, Shane Wheeldon, and Kyle Jackson. Patrick Jettner's in 14th right now as he's the driver who really makes up the 2nd and 3rd packs in between the rest of the field. Kuntz has the lead now, 20 laps in. Alec Daffin is 2nd. Jackson Van Pelt maintains 3rd. One battle we're starting to watch though is again Henry Kaloff. He's looking for another position here, and a very strong run out of this number 63. We've seen him before, quick at the big tracks no matter what. His best FORL Cup Series finish, he was 2nd position at Pocono last season. His best finish in this league, Talladega last season, and he knows a thing or two about getting it done at these fast tracks, and I think he's looking to do so once again as the night goes on. So already coming into prime form, Henry Kaloff looking good for the rest of this race, and 21 laps in at a 90. He's on the back bumper again of Vinny Tigner. Vinny trying to hold on though as he's fallen back 3 spots already. Would not like to fall back a 4th as Kaloff is so close to making contact. He's going to stay on the bumper, send him into 3 and 4, and maybe hope for a mistake here as Connor Asbell's close, and look who else is. Matthew Weeks, that time by. Weeks was the fastest driver on the track, including Jordan Kuntz and Alec Daffin by several hundredths. This time by, he's going to be just about as quick as your leaders as he comes up closer to the dirty air of Henry Kaloff, but it is clear Weeks is making time lap after lap now and is starting to use that more relaxed approach to his advantage, especially coming toward what will be our first pit stop cycle of the night. 22 laps in, Matthew Weeks starting to play the long game. A lot of other drivers slowly but surely lying back. Back of the field, though, there is a battle. It's between teammates. It's going to be Hurricane Esports. Shane Wheeldon goes down low. Patrick Jettner remains up top. And in addition, Kyle Jackson and Curtis Sabern will go to battle at the same time. Even here in the middle of the pack in Denon, there's a lot of very close racing, and I think it's going to remain that way all throughout this event. 23 laps in and a 90. It stays the same for these two teammates, whereas Patrick Jettner watches now as Curtis Sabern loses a spot and Kyle Jackson makes it up to 13. Jackson washes up high, but he clearly has the spot, and the number 92 will move on with the position and keep things going in the middle of the pack. Matthew Weeks now looks down to the bottom side of Henry Kaloff, and these two drivers are still fighting each other, trying to make something happen to get inside the top 5. But Vinny Tigner really running well and holding that defense as the race goes on. 23 in at a 90. We've mentioned it. We're coming up on that lap 30 pit window. That's our first predicted pit stop cycle of the night. Jordan Kuntz might come in earlier. He might come in later. And right now, of course, it's all up to his jurisdiction. He really sets the tone of this race, but someone else might try to go against the tone he tries to set, undercutting, maybe staying out longer, and that might be the better decision for a driver as opposed to following the norm. I think that might be the case for a guy like Alec Daffin, maybe someone like Jackson Van Pelt or Connor Asbell. You do not want to be stuck on the same strategy as your leader, but you want to find something that is better, because Jordan Kuntz is good at one thing more than anything else on the sim. He's good at wearing you down with worse equipment. He might not have the newest set of tires, he might not be on the optimal strategy, but sometimes instead of making things happen with the best of things, he tends to have the ability to make things happen with less obvious advantages, such as that patience and persistence, and that's the mental game of sim racing here that he plays so well. And particularly, I think we always cite this as one of the bigger examples. It had to be an event at Chicagoland in Season 4, where he went toe-to-toe with Matthew Weeks and wore him down on an older tire set and came out the winner. Most recently, one of the Jordan Kuntz masterclasses in tire saving was at Bristol. Strategy was not in his favor most of the race. He came back together and got the victory in the second half, despite the fact he had a clear disadvantage in the first 50, 60, 70 laps, which did not seem to be recoverable from. And it looks like this might not be recoverable either. Connor James, Michael Deitch goes sliding in the back of the field. Yellow flag is out. No major damage for either, but it will be a caution, and we are now pacing for the first time tonight. Yellow flag is out for Michael Deitch and Connor James, and it looks like there is trouble for the first time in the Irish Hills. Taking a look back right now to find out what happened, we saw James and Deitch getting very close to each other in the back of the frame of your leading battle. Here we go again as they fall right through our drone camera, and see high above the circuit, these two drivers come off of turn 2. Deitch gets loose, and that's where they come together. Luckily, there's a lot of room here in Michigan to slide under in the apron, so they both don't have any damage besides the tires being completely scuffed. Overall, impressive wreck avoidance in terms of major damage, but unfortunately, still a cause of a caution. Yellow flag is out for the first time tonight, and we'll bring you back to the live coverage of this race. Jordan Kuntz, your race leader, and the number 99 is still out in front here, 27 laps in, out of 90. The question is, does he come down to pit road now? There's an opportunity, and we are clearly within that pit window. So I think right now we're going to see drivers come into pit road, and yes, we will. Dropping in this time by Jordan Kuntz drops in, Alec Daffin gonna follow, and Jackson Van Pelt comes in too. Daffin got a bit of a smoke show going on there. Looks like he got very close to Jordan on the way in, and the drivers of the field from top to bottom are coming through together. And now it's time to watch the race off pit road as everyone closes in on our pit exit camera. Jordan Kuntz has the advantage coming in first. We're setting up our camera to get every driver on the way out, and we'll see whether or not he leaves first here. Connor James just made it into his stall in the back of the frame, and now it's time to see, can Jordan be the man out quickest? Van Pelt gets the gears going quicker. So does Vinny Tigner and Alec Daffin. It looks to be Van Pelt the winner off, then it's going to be Daffin, then Vinny Tigner, and everyone piles out more and more, and Jordan Kuntz, he will stay on. So an extended stop for your former race leader, and he's going to stay on pit road now. Rest of the field flies by, and just like that, we got a new order at the front of the field. Jackson Van Pelt will get it done over Alec Daffin. There's Vinny Tigner in third, Henry Kaloff in fourth, and Matthew Weeks. So that's a big switch up. And just like that, 28 laps in, new race leader Jackson Van Pelt, who is second in the championship standings. A win tonight would be a major deal for this team. And I think that has to be the end goal. If, of course, this is going to be a long-term situation for Kuntz, which it doesn't look like it is. He's back on the track right now. Van Pelt's going to have the chance to pick up a lap or two at least in terms of leading a lap. That's some extra bonus points. And, of course, putting himself up here with track position, if we were to go green all the way, he would set himself up nicely for the remainder of the race, pit stops and all, as drivers begin to report their tire wear percentages right now throughout the chat room. Alec Daffin saying he was 71% on the left sides, 77% on the right sides, so he saved it quite nicely. It was a balance, although Jordan Kuntz saved it the best. 75 and 76 for Jordan, and he had a very balanced overall wear ratio from left to right sides, and overall wore less than any other driver in the field who reported their wearing tires on the first run. 27 laps on that first stint. Now everyone gets back on their new rubber, and everyone on track has a new set of Goodyear Eagles. So they're all on the level playing field once again. No major damage for either Michael Deitch or Connor James. So I don't think we're going to see any trouble for those two in terms of competing for the rest of the night. It looks like right now Michael Deitch has scored in 8th. Connor James is in 14th. So they're going to stay with the pack, and they will not have any trouble, at least for now, in terms of competing. They got away lucky that time through, and Jackson Van Pelt gets a big break. He's now your leader after the first pit stop cycle of the night, and it's time to find out whether or not he can stick with it for the rest of the race. Alec Daffin, who was second place in the previous run, now has a chance to maybe take that lead away and put himself on top. Don't count out Vinny Tigner or Henry Kaloff either. They're going to be coming to the stripe together this time through as we get set to say hi to lap number 30. It's going to be Jackson Van Pelt, top of the board, as we get ready to go green for the first restart of the night. Van Pelt gets the gears going, but it's going to be Daffin clearly quicker, and just like that, Alec Daffin out in front. Green flag's out, and we'll see whether or not that's called a jump restart. Daffin's got the lead. Alec Daffin going to be able to get to the point immediately, and it was a very fast jump there for the Colorado Technical University number 48. Henry Kaloff is now going to have a chance to go for second. That's how well the outside line got things going on the immediate jump from that restart. Very impressive there from Daffin, and it looks like he will not be told to pull off the circuit. We are not seeing any signs of a penalty. Simply was the best timed restart he could give us there, and Henry Kaloff, he also reaps the benefits as well. Now it's going to be a battle for the third spot. Jackson Van Pelt trying to fend off on Vinny Tigner here. Vinny's going to get down to the bottom side. Almost had room when he looked low, but not enough to stick with it there as the drivers come down the backstretch yet again. Daffin's going to look to the bottom. He's a quarter of a second away from Henry Kaloff, though, so not yet a real opportunity to go for that race lead. Look at how far out ahead now Henry Kaloff is. Jackson Van Pelt is going to wiggle way back, and all of a sudden, it really does look like that number 63 has something keeping him up there. He's gone rocket speed and has the race lead for the first time tonight, representing his brand new sponsor, 213 Simware. A lot to prove here for Henry Kaloff, and it would be a great way to break out for what could be a first win of the season. Kaloff looking good so far. Rest of the field, they are still very close. Look at that spread as they come down through the backstretch. That's James Nelson who dropped down to the apron. The reason being Patrick Gentner's in the wall, and everyone tries to avoid him. Looks like just about everyone does, but Gentner's got big damage and now runs in 19th. And that is huge, huge trouble for him. First driver with major damage, so he will choose to drop down to pit road, and the rest of the field will go by. It's a 9/10 of a second lead now for Henry Kaloff. Jackson Van Pelt's going to go side by side now with Daffin. Alec looks high. He's going to try to take second place away, but it looks like still not the room to make it happen. Daffin is going to stay up on the top side there with Vinny Tigner. Jackson Van Pelt lies down low, and he's going to try to take it in with a lunge through 3 and 4. The momentum on the high side keeps it dead even though, and it's still going to be anyone's race as they come across the line this time through to make it lap number 34. Take a look on board now with Vinny Tigner. He's very close to these guys who are fighting for second. He's right behind him. It's the perfect perspective to find out what's going on inside the driver's mind as Vinny now puts himself in the battle as he will look for third place. And door-to-door here with Jackson Van Pelt. Look at how close these two are down the stretch. It looks like Jackson's going to lose a bit of speed, or rather, Vinny's just going to be quicker here as he goes into turn 3. The outside line has that prevailing momentum. That's what kept Alec Daffin up in front here, and you can see now that Daffin and Vinny Tigner alike are gaining big on Henry Kaloff. And as they come through once again, it's now going to be a gap of 0.5 of a second between Henry Kaloff and Alec Daffin. Previously, a gap as high as 0.9 of a second. So right now, Kaloff really hoping to have a longer green flag run later in the race, and he's just hoping to get a caution sometime soon. Patrick Gentner had damage, but was not an incident warranting a caution. So he will not get the yellow flag there, and he's going to have to keep on going, despite the fact it is clear he is shredding those tires, and now his lead is in jeopardy. Only about 7 laps into this stint, Kaloff is fading back. Kaloff looking at the rearview mirror right now, seeing that lead is dissipating, and more, he's got less time to react. Alec Daffin coming in hot, and so is Vinny Tigner. This is going to be the battle for the race lead here, as Alec's now going to look down to the bottom side. He's going to take it almost down to the bottom immediately, but he decides to stay straight with Henry Kaloff as they come down the backstretch. He looks for an opportunity, decides not to chase it, and has a little bit more time to react as they come down the front. So he's going to bide his time and hope for the best opportunity rather than rushing into one. Keeping it a bit closer this time through as well. The gap between first and second, 1/10. So these two are still going to be inch to inch as Vinny Tigner is going to be in third, but look who's now in fifth. From the back of the field on up, it's going to be Jordan Kuntz, who's now up into the fifth position, and he's been able to gain big time on this run. We saw him at the back of the field outside of the top 15 to start, and now he will be just outside the podium if he can pass Jackson Van Pelt. Big changes in terms of the running order for that number 99. He's been at just about every position on the racetrack so far, and he's doing much better in terms of recovering those spots than we anticipated. Only 10 laps on this stint, and he's already got himself in the top 10 and the top 5. Kaloff is going to go high here. Alec Daffin goes low, and this is side by side for the race lead. Daffin's still going to be holding them all off well. Alec Daffin is going to be now on the bottom side. Kaloff is putting on a masterful run of defense himself too, and now these top two drivers really working each other over, and I think that's going to set them both back here as there's a lot more pressure from Jackson Van Pelt and Jordan Kuntz than they might expect. Kaloff at the line is still the leader here, and even though it looked like he was fading back with no chance of holding on, it's one thing to catch a driver, it's always another thing to pass them, and right now the big challenge for every driver is passing Henry Kaloff. Take a look on the back bumper of the number 63, Vinny Tigner. He's looking close, he's looking low, and he's going to be looking for the race lead. All of a sudden, there's a chance now as they go through turns 3 and 4. Vinny Tigner's got room, and now he's got it side by side as they'll be neck and neck coming through. It looks like now it's going to be Vinny Tigner taking the race lead, and he's going to be now the third driver in this pack to take the lead in just 10 laps of racing. This stint has been quick and already giving us a lot of action. Kaloff maintains the race lead. Take a look at that. He's going to find himself clearing Vinny Tigner once again, and it looks like these old tires will not quit. It's an interesting story we mentioned about his career best FORL finish. Second place at Pocono, and it came in a familiar circumstance, holding off with old tires until the final laps against James Thurston. Thurston eventually won the race, but it was Kaloff's career high finish of a runner-up spot in Pocono really set the flame off for him to continue growing as a driver, and he's only getting better and better and better. Right now, 41 laps in, he is the race leader, and Vinny Tigner's keeping him honest but has not found a way around. Even still, he's got time to continue waiting to find that perfect opportunity. He had an opportunity going down low just 2 laps prior. He'll take one again. There goes Vinny Tigner dropping down to the bottom side. Alec Daffin is looking on, and there might be a chance to make it a 3-man race for lead. Look at how quick Daffin's going to jump to the back bumper of Vinny Tigner. And even still, Tigner can't find the perfect way through. Daffin's getting closer, and he's going to choose to stay right on top for now. He's going to let Tigner once again jump into turn 1. Alec is going to go a bit lower, maybe trying to make something happen off exit. Look at how much slower Kaloff is through, and this is a big chance. You'll see, there goes Vinny. He's low already. He just has to send it down to the bottom side and take the race lead. And once again, the 12 has room. Isn't clear just yet. Kaloff stays high. Tigner's going to be washing up, and this might be the move to take the lead for good. Vinny Tigner, new race leader, and Henry Kaloff is now going to drop down to the bottom side to make that lunge down low and try to cross him right back over. Daffin's got the best seats in the house right now. No other driver as close to this battle as he is, and Kaloff will still not quit. Take a look at that. down to the bottom side. Henry Kaloff is looking for the lead again. They'll be neck and neck coming through, but I think now there's very little chance for him to hold on, and he will slot into second and concede for the time being. Or will he? He's going to drive once again up to the top and try to make something happen once more. Looking for new room. Henry Kaloff still not quitting here and does not want to give in, but it's going to be a much bigger challenge now from the outside looking in rather than being the man defending the race lead. Take a look at how close these guys are now. The stack up from first to sixth, it is immense. Jordan Kuntz goes up top as he now tries to pass Jackson Van Pelt. He's got it, looking down to the high side. He's going to turn Jackson Van Pelt, and there's trouble. Two drivers in the wall. Everyone gets away. No caution is going to fly. Everyone gets out of it, but we've got trouble. Your points leaders get into each other, and there is an incident down the backstretch. Everyone passes by. Van Pelt and Kuntz, your first and second drivers in the championship standings, are going to have contact, and it looks like now Kuntz is going to have trouble going for his fourth win. Van Pelt going to have trouble going for his first. No caution is going to fly. Everyone gets away from the incident. Take a look once again. Two drivers at their quickest, fighting for the same real estate. Van Pelt shoots up high. Kuntz drops slightly low to keep his own ground, and it's a racing incident there. They both get in the wall, and just like that, both drivers are going to be outside of the top 10. Kuntz gets away better. He will re-navigate back to the racing circuit in 12th. Right now, it's going to be Jackson Van Pelt in 18th. And both drivers, big time damage there, but they will keep on going as the yellow flag will not fly. 45 laps to go this time by. We are now in the halfway stage of this race. It's going to be the rest of this one to go. And I think now we are set to perhaps see a new race winner if all stays the same at the front of the field. None of your top 5 drivers, actually, none of your drivers in the field besides for Jordan Kuntz have won this season. James Thurston, in 4 races, is the only other driver to win besides Jordan Kuntz, and that was the one night Jordan Kuntz was not here. So everyone else has an opportunity for their first win of the season. Some drivers looking for a first career win, others looking for their first, of course, of the season, as we mentioned. And Daffin now looks low on Henry Kaloff. This is the battle for second here, and could send Kaloff even down to third, because Matthew Weeks is coming in with a vengeance, and he's ready to charge up in front as well. Daffin looks low yet again, got a chance to take that spot, but we saw how hard it was to make it happen, even if you were down low, until you had the perfect run off the corner. Vinny Tigner was low on Henry Kaloff about 5 times, and it was only that final attempt where he got clear, and when you're clear of a driver, clearly so, it's just much easier than fighting side by side. The side draft at Michigan is immense, and it's intense. So if you experience it, you'll experience it for almost the entirety of the corner, and it'll slow you down drastically. It's not necessarily a speed boost for the other drivers, but instead, it's something that keeps you at their same speed, and it tows you back to them, almost like a rubber banding effect. So you do not want to have that side draft on you, because if you're looking for room, you're definitely going to be the driver who's losing out. You want to have that confidence to quickly take the spot, and if you get the perfect room, then you'll have an easy chance to go for it and get away with the position. Vinny Tigner got away, and now he's your new race leader. Tigner, who came into the night 18 points down from your leader, Jordan Kuntz, and now has a big opportunity to maybe take that points lead right back. Watkins Glen didn't have as many drivers in attendance, so every spot meant a lot more, but by contrast here, you can see how far Meyer back drivers like Van Pelt and Kuntz are. Vinny Tigner is far and away ahead of the both of them, and now is your leading championship contender as we're set to come across the line to go on to lap number 50. Alec Daffin is also looking for some major gains, despite the fact that to this point he's competed in all 4 races. Of the drivers who have competed in every race so far, he is second lowest in points, with the exception of CJ Allman, who has been disconnected forcefully from 2 of them. So Daffin is really not having a Alec Daffin-esque season right now, knowing that he has the ability to be a full-time driver on top of his game. just hasn't had the luck so far. Multiple incidents, internet disconnection in Daytona. Las Vegas was a calmer event overall for everyone, but Bristol, he got wrecked by a lap machine. Watkins Glen, troubles in the middle of the field, and he ended up on the wrecker. And now, looking for what would be his first podium of the season to perhaps jump him up to the top 10 in the point standings. He needs a big boost up if he wants any chance to fight for a top 5 points finish already, and he's looking to get that tonight as Matthew Weeks makes his way into the podium, and Weeks has slowly but surely been climbing back up into the top 3, and much like last week at Watkins Glen, Matthew Weeks is quiet, but he is quick. Came away with a podium finish when we almost didn't mention him the entire race because he was out in his own spot on track and had just about nobody there with him until the very end of the race. Alec Daffman's disconnection meant that he was going to have a podium practically locked up on strategy, and even though he actually had an incident in the final 5 laps, he kept it going and got that top 3 when all was said and done. So right now he's looking to make some noise and perhaps go for second. You'll see how close he is right now, and with 39 laps to go, he's looking to make a difference here as he gets slowly but surely back up to Alec Daffin, and see on board right now how close he really is. Right now, Matthew Weeks is going to be about a 10.5 away from Alec Daffin as he comes down the start-finish line. Going to be a very marginal difference, but that, of course, could change. Slowly but surely, drivers getting closer to one another in the back of the field. We'll take a look at the battles right now between Jordan and James. Jordan Kuntz and James Nelson very close to each other here, and you can see Kuntz by no means is giving in. He's sliding through turns 1 and 2, looking for every possible pass at once. Here's an aerial shot of the entire battle. He's up top on Nelson, got by Kyle Jackson. Now he's looking to get through Connor Asbell, and even Connor James right in front of him. Kuntz is by no means giving in and giving up. Looking at how quick he's pulling through, he's using every inch of the racetrack and using every ounce of the power in the pedal to make it by every driver that he sees. He just got by Asbell at the line and is looking to send it into turn 1, but can't do anything. He'll stay up top, merge down low, look down to the bottom, and it almost looks like he is on easy mode right now, passing these drivers. Connor James going to give him a bit more hesitation, but this would get Kuntz already right back up into 7th. Despite the incident, he's going to be moving himself just outside the top 5, and he's making big gains right now. Drops down low on Connor James, and Jordan Kuntz, despite the damage, is back up to 7th, and Henry Kaloff is coming down and in. Pit road's going to be busy once more. Now Kaloff is going to drop down to pit road after a 26-lap stint, and he looks set to go for one more pit stop at that rate as he comes in with a stint less than 30 laps long. So he's not set up, in all honesty, for the remainder of the race. And if these drivers go 6 or 7 laps more, they'll have a chance to have a 1 pit stop cycle for the rest of the way instead of 2. They're hoping to get now down to about lap number 60. That would really solidify their chances of going all the way without another pit stop, and I think that's the end goal for Tigner, Daffin, Weeks, your top 3 right now. Matthew Weeks is going to be huge up ahead in terms of guys like Kenneth Garrell and Mac Grab, and Jordan Kuntz comes in this time by. He'll make it an early and set himself up for another pit stop here. We'll see who else comes in next. The 30-lap pit cycle looks to be the overall average, as some drivers have come in early, and now it's time to see when the rest of the pack decides it's time to make their move. 35 laps remaining. Kaloff and Kuntz are the only 2 drivers to go in so far, and now Daffin's going to have an opportunity to maybe take that lead before going into the pit stops, because he's only a 1/10 of a second away as they come across the line all over again. At the stripe to make it only 34 laps to go, Alec Daffin remains in the runner-up spot. He's pushing Tigner into the corner and is going to try to send him deep, but it looks like not deep enough for any problem here. He's not forcing a mistake. At least not yet. Matthew Weeks remains on his bumper too. The pressure is really being put on now by Matthew Weeks, who's right behind the both of these drivers, and now is trying to get by Alec Daffin. Weeks looks down to the bottom side, and he's going to try to take second for the first time tonight. Matthew Weeks looking quicker and quicker in the dying laps of this race, and he's looking to come alive for his first win of the season. We knew he was quick at this track coming in, and it looks like he's proving it all over again. 34 laps to go. Make it only 33, and it's going to be Matthew Weeks fading back into third. Was not able to make that pass happen, and just like that, he'll fade back yet again. Slight change in the order. Connor Asbell is blown up and destroyed. No caution going to fly, but Connor Asbell has major troubles, and we're going to find out why that's the case. This is coming through the back straightaway. He caught the wall first off. And that's the first part of the incident here. As they come down the back straightaway, you'll see going through turns 3 and 4, chopping down to the bottom side. He looks to try to go into pit road, as so it appears. Connor James slows down big. Asbell is going to come in, and it looks like for Connor, it might have been a money shift. No, it was an incident. Both drivers pummeled on pit road, and the Connors collect each other. Destruction. Two motors blow at once, and it's a pit road incident that will take them both out. A debacle on pit road. Look at it one more time from a closer angle. It looks like Connor James kicks it off here, and as James comes in, then the trouble really ensues because he's going to end up spinning, and that's going to end up taking them both out. He comes right into the barrier. Here's a look one more time with Connor James in focus. He drops in. It looks like he's going to hit the brakes as hard as he can, and comes right back out at Connor Asbell. That is horrible for both drivers, and it ends both of the races at once. 60 laps in and a 90. We have now come down to the 30 lap to go point for these drivers. And now it's Shane Wheeldon, Curtis Sabarin, both coming in. Alec Daffin signals that he's coming down a pit road this time by. Vinny Tigner came in last time through, and now it's time for Daffin to set himself up. It'll be a one pit stop race for Alec Daffin, and for Matthew Weeks, if they come in at the same time, it looks like Daffin will go in first. Matthew Weeks opts to stay out, and his plan now is to stay all in remainder of this stint. He's going to try to go less and less. In terms of time, the laps are winding down, and the opportunity for him is to maybe stay out longer, perhaps gain some more laps on the newer tire later, so he has less tire wear in the dying laps of this race. Coming around the final 25 laps very soon, there's a chance for Matthew Weeks to have the big advantage. However, when it comes to distance, I think it's really going to be all about drivers like Alec Daffin and Vinny Tigner. Daffin is on pit road right now, and he actually is exiting as it stands, making his way out. Alec Daffin is going to return to the track, and he has returned indeed. He's going to be just behind Vinny Tigner, so I think Tigner would be the net leader overall of those drivers who have come down to pit road, but he's fighting with Jordan Kuntz, and Kuntz now puts himself in the power position. He's the net leader. However, he came in much earlier than everyone else. The question is, can Jordan Kuntz go 29 more laps? And moreover, can he do it with damage? He was a non-factor 15 laps ago. All of a sudden, of the drivers who have come down to pit road, he is the leader, and he might be in the best position of all of which if he can save the tires, which is a big question in itself. He's got a long way to go. It's going to be very challenging for him, and Matthew Weeks still has to come down to pit road. He's the last wrench in the equation here, so for all the drivers who have stayed on the track to this point, you got to find out what can they do in terms of getting out better than Matthew Weeks, or what can Matthew Weeks do to improve on his previous entry to pit road. 39-second pit stop for Matthew Weeks last time by. For Jordan Kuntz, he had a 38.3-second pit stop. For Vinny Tigner, he had a 38.9-second pit stop. So right now, in accordance to the numbers, everyone had the upper hand on Matthew Weeks' most recent pit stop. Now time to find out whether or not that holds true. Yes, it does. Matthew Weeks spins on pit road. Your leader has trouble, and he is going to end up in reverse. And it looks like he's going to have substantial trouble getting that lead back. Matthew Weeks, from the lead of the circuit, comes into pit road and will spin. Luckily, no damage, but he's going to have a much harder time coming back out up in front, and I think that might have given away his chances at the race win. Weeks is going to come in, and now time to see who cycles out to the lead. Vinny Tigner's already coming across the line. New net race leader, it's Vinny Tigner, and Matthew Weeks has lost quite a lot all at once. Weeks is now going to be far behind. He'll need a caution to cycle back up. And just like that, from the top of the board, spinning in a pit road, Matthew Weeks has trouble, and no yellow flag will fly. That was a single car incident. Tyrone Yo is going to come in very, very cautiously, as he saw. You do not want to get involved with that trouble in the slightest. James Bowden's going to be coming now down the back straightaway. Number 52, Simon's machine, rolling through with 26 laps to go. And as it stands, it's going to be Bowden down to the bottom. Net race leader, Michael Deitch, is going to be in second, and it's then going to be Vinny Tigner in the overall third spot, and he is set to cycle up to the race lead. Now Vinny Tigner facing the pressure. Jordan Kuntz, Alec Daffin, they're going to be right behind. It's going to be neck and neck battle for the net second spot as James Bowden comes in. That will leave only Michael Deitch up at the front of the field. Michael right now going to have a 38 lap stint running with 25 remaining, and you'll see that wheel in number 17 hauling across the track as he comes into turns 3 and 4. The Irish Hills 180 has been led by over 5 drivers to this point. Vinny Tigner, Alec Daffin, Jordan Kuntz, and Jackson Van Pelt all coming through this time by. And now Michael Deitch adds himself to the category of drivers who have led at least one lap. 24 laps to go this time through for Deitch. Vinny Tigner is about 18 seconds back on your current leader, but he's set to take that top spot, but not if Alec Daffin will let him get away with it. Daffin down to the bottom side, and a new net race leader. It's Daffin to the point. And all of a sudden, Alec up to the top spot. Vinny Tigner is going to be now dropping back just a bit. Jordan Kuntz fades back a bit further as well. He's going to be scored in your net third place and finds himself just within the confines of the podium here. 67 laps in, coming to lap number 68. That's Michael Deitch as he comes on the way. He's got 23 laps to go here in that number 17. He's the final driver set to come down a pit road, and he's really throwing a Hail Mary here, hoping for perhaps a caution to get him back on the leading cycle. 23 to go this time by, but we're coming up to 22 laps remaining, and as always, live on FTN, we crank it up with 22 laps to go, courtesy of our friends at TrackCams22.com. The best cameras in the iRacing platform for broadcasters and sim racing photographers alike. Check out TrackCams22.com and Facebook.com/TrackCams for over 100 track and card combinations of the best iRacing cameras. 69 laps in, Michael Deitch holds a nice lead, and we're set to crank it up with 22 laps to go. And returning now with 17 laps to go, top of the board, Alec Daffin, and he finds himself ahead now with half a second to lead, 75 laps in, out of 90. The best that Daffin has looked all season long, and with an opportunity to chase the checkered flag, it's a huge redemption race from Watkins Glen so far, and definitely head and shoulders above any performance he's put together this season to this point. And now looking toward the final leg of laps, it's Vinny Tigner in second, Jordan Kuntz, who's made his way back up to third, a fantastic rebound run, but he is not out of luck and not out of pressure at the same time. While he's back in the top 5, it's Mac Grab who's making a lot back up on him and is several tenths of a second quicker each and every lap. This would be Mac Grab's highest career finish in the number 53, and it could be his best performance of his iRacing League career if all is said and done well to catch up in the final 15 laps. Grab is making up a lot of time now in this last leg of the tour and looks to be consistently 1/10 of a second quicker, if not more. So keep that in mind. Right now, absolutely going to be a big showing from Mac Grab, and he could come with a podium at the end of this race. Kenneth Garrell runs in the top 5 right now. Matthew Weeks has recovered to get back in a 6th, but right now he does not have any opportunity to make it back up to another spot unless somebody else makes a mistake. Currently running on his own in that position, number 6. It looks like he's got himself out on his own, at least for now, and we'll see whether or not there's any chance for him to regroup. Closest battle on the racing track is going to be between Tyrone Yoch and James Nelson. These two drivers are fighting for the 11th position. Nelson has it, and Tyrone is still looking for it. Right down to the bottom side, Nelson's going to go to the apron, come right back up, and you can see there, it's going to be the number 75 still holding on. Take a look on board with the number 75 right now as he gets going once again. This battle persists, but it looks like Tyrone Yoch is going to get through, and very close that time around. Just like that, he's going to scrape nothing of the wall and get away with the position. Nicely done there to make it up into 11th. James Nelson holds on in the 12th spot, and Curtis Saverne still holds the keys to the top 10. But one driver who's making gains now with a dozen remaining, Vinny Tigner. It's going to be now 79 laps in, Vinny making big moves, and it's the Menards number 12 trying to catch back up to the clutches of Alec Daffin. It's a quarter of a second separating the two as it stands. You can see a caution in the air. Michael Deitch the cause. He's going to go up and over, and he's going to have big trouble. As you can see, the motor has blown. That's his night. Michael Deitch in the Whelen number 17 is going to have a huge issue. Take a look back. You can see there, just caught up with James Bowden, and just like that, Deitch's race coming to an end. Both of them hooking up to the top side of the track, and the motor blown for Michael Deitch. For James Bowden, he gets away with some major body damage, especially on the front end. And you can see, coming down the backstretch, while he's still able to putter through, Michael Deitch is, in terms of this race, just about done and done. He's going to make it through the pit road and have to call it a night. The motor is blown. Going to be continuing an unfortunate trip down a pit road, and it could be the final trip for every driver. Alec Daffin is going to be coming through this time by, and it's going to be set to make it in. 11 laps to go, coming down to only 10. It's our final pit cycle, and this is a big chance for any driver. Could be for Kuntz, for Tigner, for Mac Grab alike, and this pit road gets busy one final time. You're going to see them all make their way in. Down the front straightaway, into pit road, and the Colorado Technical University number 48 has the lead. They're coming down to the single digits. It looks like Kuntz going to have some contact on the way in, but he's going to make it into his stall just about right. All is well as Jordan makes it through. A bit of a smoke show for him, but otherwise everyone in cleanly. Jordan Kuntz, Vinny Tigner, Alec Daffin, Matthew Weeks. The front runners pull out. Tigner has the lead, then Daffin in second, Kuntz third, and Matthew Weeks is in fourth. Going to be Kenneth Gorell, Kyle Jackson coming out immediately thereafter. You'll see Shane Wheeldon and also his teammate in Patrick Gentner. And as everyone comes out, new driver at the front of the field, James Bowden, but he's set to go down a pit road regardless. New race leader is going to be Alec Daffin. No longer. It's Vinny Tigner's race at the top of the board, 81 laps in, and with the final sprint ahead of us, it's this number 12 with a big chance to come to victory lane. We have been awaiting a chance for Tigner to come through at the top of the board for several seasons now. He was second at Daytona this season, second at Talladega last season, but tonight, he does appear to be one of the quickest drivers, and on that last run was gaining big time on Alec Daffin. Now there's an opportunity to perhaps make it all come together as Vinny Tigner is nearing the end of this race. Very serious opportunity for him to win the Irish Hills 180. Coming through with 10 laps to go. The lead no longer going to be in the hands of Daffin, but Jordan Kuntz stays in third here, and that's big for him because he's now going to be on the level playing field in terms of tire, and whenever Kuntz has the same age tire as the other drivers around him, most often, he's the best driver on that set. So despite the damage, this is a huge chance for Jordan Kuntz to prove what he's got in store. I think he's still got the opportunity to take that race lead and then some. He's still not out of winning contention despite the damage. It's going to be a fight to the finish to remember here as we've still got 16 drivers on the track. Going back to Jackson Van Pelt, who is now 2 laps down. There are 14 on the lead lap. Going back to Henry Kaloff, 82 laps in. We're coming now to what will be an 8-lap sprint. And at the top of the board, looks like James Bowden chooses not to go into pit road, at least not yet. Maybe he'll be set to go in this time by and make it a very late run in, but it's going to be a big risk. Look at the damage on that number 52. He's got it on the hood, he's got it down the sides of the body, and the back bumper is fine, but everything else looks to have some serious damage here, so I don't quite know what the opportunity is for James Bowden. He's going to try to hold on for what's left in terms of position, but I think right now it's going to be a big risk to stay on the track in this condition. Coming around with the iRacing official pace car one final time. The pace car will drop in. James Bowden will be your control car. Vinny Tigner up top will be right there with them. See whether or not Tigner gets away best. Perhaps we'll see a bit more from Kuntz, Daffin, maybe even Matthew Weeks. Everyone's bunched up yet again with 8 laps to go. Bowden gets the jump, green flags in the air, and we're underway with an 8-lap sprint. And quickly, James Bowden pulls out of the leader's frame. He's already going to be dropping way back there. All of a sudden, it's once again Vinny Tigner, your race leader. Jordan Kuntz going to be up top. He looks for his 4th consecutive win in 4 starts if he can get back up there, and he is not giving up just yet. He had an even pit stop time with the rest of the field, so it looks like as the race has gone on, his damage has been slowly but surely prepared. Still fighting as he goes right up top. It's side by side for second at the stripe. Vinny Tigner, your race leader. 7 laps to go. We'll see whether or not luck is on his side. But right now, it's going to be a fierce battle for second that keeps both Vinny Tigner and Jordan Kuntz occupied. Kuntz has the speed, though, and comes off of the second turn. Now it's second. He's looking for the lead. Looks low. Goes right back up high. And he's looking to take a second spot away. And it looks like there's a chance to go for it once again. Shaw Racing's number 99 goes back down low for the race lead. Jordan Kuntz is once again going to the top of the spots on the pylon. New race leader, top of the leaderboard. Jordan Kuntz has himself there with 6 laps to go. This will be his 4th win in 4 starts, and we've only had 5 races including this one. He's been a dominant man this season and is looking to do so once again. Of everyone in the field, he's the only driver with a win this season. James Thurston collected the only other win at Las Vegas. Kuntz has been a 100% winner in every race he showed up to this season. And if he won tonight, it will be another big deal for this entire league. The gap would be astronomical in terms of points, but Tigner's going to bang doors with Jordan Kuntz, and they're going to be getting closer and rougher side by side with 5 laps to go. Contact is made as they go through turns 1 and 2. Alec Daffin is looking for an opportunity as well. He knows as well as anyone else he needs a rebound race, 19th in the points, and he's right behind the drivers who are 1st and 3rd. They can afford a bad race. Alec Daffin cannot, and he needs to stay in the podium at the very minimum, but he knows a win would be that much better with 5 laps left. There's still a chance, but Kenneth Gorell is there too. Matthew Weeks and even Kyle Jackson are all in close competition right now in the conversation for the race win. Vinny Tigner at the line is going to be right there with Jordan Kuntz again. 4 laps remaining, and it's going to be neck and neck at the stripe. Still no big difference. They've been side by side now for a lap straight here. Alec Daffin is looking on, trying to get himself in order. Here's on board with the number 48 as the 2 drivers ahead of him have been side by side now for nearly 2 laps. Taking a look at it now, Vinny Tigner gets the advantage. He's going to come out with a race lead as they go to the start-finish line again, making it 3 laps to go at the line. It's now going to be Alec Daffin, single file with the top 2 drivers. 88 laps in, they're all wrapped up under a blanket, and Vinny's going to have the lead going down to the second groove of the racing circuit. Jordan Kuntz lies back just a bit. He'll wait just a bit longer if he's got anything left in store. You'll see coming down the back straightaway, he has the draft, gets right back up to Vinny's back bumper, and there's a chance now to maybe make a move. He'll lie back and instead wait just a tad longer. He's got 2 more laps in store to maybe make something happen, but it's a risk to wait till the last moment. And right now, it looks like he's going to play that game and hope for just a bit more time till a perfect move can be pulled off. 2 laps remaining, 4 miles left. Jordan Kuntz looking to lock himself in for a 4th consecutive win. Vinny Tigner looking to get himself a win in the league he runs, and right now, he's running away from your second place driver. Taking a look off the back straightaway, you'll see Kuntz lost a lot of time and now is far out of the picture. 0.3 of a second. Jordan Kuntz drops back a bit further, and Vinny Tigner now has himself in his own frame. He's secure for now, but he has to pull through for 1 more lap. White flag will fly for Vinny Tigner as he leads the way with 1 more lap to go. He's still trying to keep himself in the championship battle, and what a way it would be to keep himself right there with a checkered flag victory. Coming down the backstretch this time by, it's going to be Jordan Kuntz trying to give it all he has on the back straightaway. This is the final big opportunity for a pass. He's quicker, but nowhere near Vinny Tigner. Vinny's been looking for victory for more than a season and a half. He's had heartbreak through the final corner. He's had heartbreak at the start-finish line. But tonight in the Irish Hills, there's no room for heartbreak, and there is room for Vinny Tigner in victory lane. The number 12 collects the checkered flag, and for the first time this season, Tigner is a race winner. Daffin gets by for 2nd, and Jordan Kuntz comes home in 3rd. Checkered flag flies. Vinny Tigner's a winner again, and he collects the checkered flag after 90 hard-fought laps. At long last for this number 12 team, they are back on the top of the board, and Tigner had to fight till the very end to make that so. When he got by Jordan Kuntz, there looked to be nothing left in that number 99, and he pulled it together and got it done at the very end. Burning down the house, Vinny Tigner celebrates in the Irish Hills and puts it into the miniature Gatorade victory lane. Vinny Tigner will park his number 12 in the Gatorade victory lane tonight, celebrating a fantastic performance from start to finish, and the checker flag is his. How's about now? We check our overall race result from the Irish Hills 180 as the Michigan International Speedway came alive tonight. It's Vinny Tigner who will win in Brooklyn. It's going to be second, Alec Daffin, 4/10 behind, and by 8/1000ths of a second, he will beat Jordan Kuntz to the line. Jordan will finish in third. Matthew Weeks comes home in fourth with Kenneth Garrell fifth and Kyle Jackson sixth. It's Mac Grab in seventh, Shane Wheels in eighth, Henry Caloff ninth, and Tyler Seaver then in 10th. 11th place will then be occupied by James Nelson with Curtis Saber in 12th, Tyrone Yo in 13th, and James Bowden in the 14th position. Jackson Van Pelt is going to come home in 15th. And then 16th place will be Michael Deitch. 17th is Connor Asbell, and it's going to be Connor James in 18th with Patrick Gentner 19th and Chris Tripp then in 20th. 21st position is going to be occupied then by Carter Casey with Dylan Wheeler 22nd and last of your field here in Michigan tonight. At the end of a hard-fought battle tonight, though, it was not Jordan Kuntz with the win. Despite the damage, he gave it a good run, but it was all Vinny Tigner at the very end. He was quick before that final caution, showed signs of life there to maybe look for the race win, but he really came together in that final run toward the checkered flag, and with only 3 laps to go, he made the pass that sealed the deal, and he gets it done. For the first time this season, Vinny Tigner, at long last, you get that race win, and you pull through in the virtual Michigan International Speedway, winning the Irish Hills 180. How does it feel as a winner in SNT?
Oh man, feels great. It was long overdue, man. It's been a long time, so glad to beat the best guys in this league. Jordan put up a hell of a fight, and Alec was right there, and I believe Matthew was there in the hunt there too. So just man, really good battle. I can't ask for anything more than that. That was fun, but hard.
And a very hard-fought night for this number 12 team. We saw it was a great battle between all the leaders from start to finish. Saw a good mix of green flag strategy, some action involving the cautions, and that last run sprint to pass by Jordan Kuntz and get the win. What was it like managing strategy all night long, knowing how quick everyone in the top 5 was?
Yeah, early on, we were just like all packed up, and I was trying to save a little bit, just trying to get a feel for it. The track was a little different. I knew it was going to get snug towards the end of the run. I couldn't really drive it the way I really wanted to drive it. And then with dirty air and everything else, it was just, I was getting kind of loose, and, I was just riding, just till that first caution came out. I was going to short pit that first stint there, and then the caution came out, so I kind of changed my plan a little bit. And, but I mean, it worked out pretty good. The next green flag pit stop there, I short pitted, I think a couple laps to Alec, and then he got around me because he had fresher tires, and I kind of hung with him, which I was kind of surprised, and I just started saving, and then I was starting to peck away at it a little bit here and there, and then that caution came out, and then it was just it came on from there.
It was all down to that final stretch tonight, and we saw how good you were in the long run. So working on that short run with everyone's on a level playing field is even tougher. Was there any trick to it that got you up there despite how even the strategy was at the very end?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was just we were all packed up there, and then but once we got a little spread out, that's when I can run the line that I want to run and just run my race. And obviously I was able to do that. And then to get the track position, I knew I had to jump ahead of a couple of those guys instead of just riding behind them, because I knew that was just going to bite me. But obviously that last caution came out, it just changed the whole race anyway. So it was just you had to charge hard, and beat the best guys in this league.
When it comes to winning with such a stacked field, it's exactly that, beating the best in the business. And that's how we feel about it every week here. It's a great win, but there's, of course, a lot more opportunity now. You're firmly in the championship battle. And up next, it's the Homestead Miami Speedway, keeping up with the ovals as we usually see. That's always a very, very fun track. We've seen you had success at this track before in our championship finale in Season 4, the Truck Series in Season 5 previously, but it's a whole different animal, these Xfinity cars. Think you have a chance to maybe go back to back?
I think I do. I just love these cars. I just love how they handle, and feel like it's in the driver's hands at that point, compared to the trucks the last few seasons. So I'm looking forward to it. I think there's a lot of good tracks for me on the schedule, and I had a couple close calls, winning at Bristol almost, I'd get taken out, and Daytona was right to the line, and Vegas, I was right there. So I feel really, really good. I mean, Watkins Glen was, I knew I was not going to do good there. So I wrote that one off and just got a solid finish. But I'm really looking forward to the rest of this season.
Now there's a chance to keep on fighting. Vinny Tigner, first career win here in the Grand National Series, getting it done in Michigan. If there's anyone else you'd like to thank after this race, be sure to let us know now.
Yeah, obviously, thank you for calling this race, and thank you to all those who tuned in and watched. That was hopefully we put on a good race for you guys, and thanks to everybody that showed up tonight. Appreciate it.
Vinny Tigner collecting his first win in Season 1 of the Grand National Series, an inaugural victory at Michigan with the Xfinity machines, and it's one worth remembering. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Vinny Tigner on the move. We'll move next to our second place finisher, a driver who desperately needed a good run. Got that and then some tonight. Second place, Alec Daffin. It's your best run so far this season, and you put yourself in the podium for the first time in this campaign. How you feeling after a hard-fought night in the Irish Hills?
That's definitely bittersweet. Obviously, when that caution came out, it was like same old, same old. Every time I'm leading the race and pulling away, caution comes out, and definitely gets you after a while for sure. So that's annoying. But hey, we had a good battle at the end there, and I gotta say, I'm happy for Vinny. He's long overdue for a win. And other than the All-Star race a couple seasons ago, he hasn't won since September of 22, and he beat me in a photo finish. And I finished second to him, but yeah, definitely happy for Vinny. And man, that pass at the end there, I was kind of pawing it for a lap. I was kind of scared because I didn't want to end up hooking myself into the wall and throwing away a podium, but we were able to clear Jordan there. Had a little bit of contact, unfortunately, but still cleared him. And then probably could have blocked the crossover there, but thankfully had enough momentum still to where we were able to beat him to the line. And Jordan's probably pissed at me, but it was nothing personal. Just good hard racing there, and he still got third out of it. So definitely a bittersweet night. But like I said, it's been an extremely rough season so far. We haven't even finished in the top 10 yet. We were 19th in points going into this race with running all 4 races. So I sped on pit road twice, got wrecked twice in the first 4 races, but hey, finally got on the right track now, and I don't know if I'm going to run the whole season at this point, but hey, either way, it's a step in the right direction and back on track if we do run the whole season. So we'll see where it goes from here.
It's definitely a huge boost of momentum to have a night like this, and we knew how badly you needed it. So what was it like having to step up to the plate here, knowing how close the top competition was tonight? Everyone really well bunched up.
Yeah, I was really bunched up early on, and that's kind of how it goes in this league. It's really close racing early on. After our pit stop, we spread out quite a bit. But yeah, everything just went our way tonight. Obviously, I slid through my pit stall in the first stop, and then Vinny beat me out of the pits on the second stop. The third stop. The one in the middle, the green flag stop, went fine. But yeah, ultimately, I think everything just went our way tonight in terms of execution, not making mistakes or anything, or at least minor mistakes. Didn't throw the race away at all. And obviously, some other guys Joran got caught up in an instant halfway through the race. Same with Jackson Van Pelt, and I think Weeks had a bad pit stop or something. So, I never wish bad luck on my competitors, but that definitely helped us a little bit. And then yeah, we were able to be there at the end and couldn't finish it off, unfortunately. Kind of just driver talent, and so it's caution didn't help us. But yeah, still everything went well. We were able to finish it off with the podium at the very least.
And finishing off with a podium exactly what this number 48 team needed. You said there might not be a chance for this team to go full time, but up next, Miami, and we've seen you quick there before. Perhaps a chance to keep the rebound going?
I think definitely top five's on the cards. I mean, Miami hasn't always been my best track. Like, obviously, I think last season we finished second here, and in the integrity race, we were able to pull a second place out of a rear end last season. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think we're going to be fast enough for a win. But hey, I mean, if you put in practice laps throughout the week and things go our way and I remember how to drive, I think we can probably at least be in the hunt for it.
And hoping to keep in the hunt for the race victories this season. Alec Daffin, you're as close as it's been all season long for this 48 team. Second place after 90 laps at Michigan. Anyone else you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, thanks, Solid Graphic Design for the paint scheme. Twitch viewers at Alec Daffin 48, Colorado Technical University. Thank you. Doing the FTN broadcast as normal. Thanks, Carter and Vinny, for putting on the league. And yeah.
And there we have it. Alec Daffin will come home a runner-up on the board tonight in the Irish Hills 180. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, David. Good talking to you.
One more driver on the way. It's going to be third place for Jordan Kuntz. And despite the damage early, bouncing back for a podium finish here, Jordan, it's a top three yet again. And you continue your dominance so far this season. How are you feeling after coming home with this third place finish?
I think it's a really good result considering everything that happened. Definitely my most chaotic race in this series or in this season, and definitely not the race I wanted to have, but it's the race I got, and I feel like I managed it well to come back to a P3. Definitely could have won there with the late race caution. Just wasn't as quick on short runs as I was on long, and yeah, just not really much I can do whenever I'm not as quick and make a mistake on the next to last lap.
We saw that damage early, almost thought that would be the end of the race for you, but either way, able to recover big time and keep things moving. What was it like sawing through the field? We saw you coming back from 12th to get up to the podium in that green flag run, and you kept that speed consistently for the rest of the race.
So with the wreck, it would just I was trying to pass the 07, and he grounded me up against the wall, and we both held our lines. It's no one's fault. Netcode dragged us into each other and caused the wreck. I knew it with netcode whenever it first happened, and I instantly braked to avoid it, and so I got no damage. I had no damage the entire race, and that definitely helped with the long run speed. But the tire offset, because of me pitting early, definitely didn't help. Wasn't able to keep up with Vinny and Alec on newer tires. I thought draft would matter a lot more than it did, and yeah.
For the first time this season in the race that we've seen you did not get the win. But either way, we know how good you've been at Miami before. Homestead is up next on the schedule. Think there's a chance to go for win number 4?
Homestead, this is the track that I really dislike. I can't even remember the last time I ran Xfinity at Homestead. Homestead's a track I always dislike, don't want to race, and try to avoid. So definitely just going to have to get a few practice runs in, make sure I can manage tires well, and be able to be quick on the short runs as well as on the long runs.
And despite, of course, maybe not being your most preferred track, there's a record of success for this entire team at Homestead previously, but the Xfinity cars, of course, a different animal. Tonight, you tamed the beast, and you come home third, Jordan. Anyone else you'd like to thank after this performance?
So during this race, I was thinking a lot, and whenever I first started on iRacing, one of the first tips my papa gave me was that to hold the wheel straight, or at least in the corners to hold it straight, not wiggle it. And during the race, that's what I was really paying attention to. So I'd like to thank him for all of the tips he gave me. What was it, like 3 years ago? Whenever he would watch me race, definitely helped me become a better driver, and definitely helped get this third place finish. Should have been a win, but I'll take a third place.
And a recovery run to keep it inside the podium. Jordan Kuntz, you finish in the top 3 tonight. Third place in the Irish Hills 180. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Jordan Kuntz on the move. That ends our top 3 podium ceremony for tonight. And overall, especially exciting race here from the Irish Hills. And as we mentioned, moving back to the former home of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship race, it's the Homestead Miami Speedway up next. And if you want to join us, be sure to join up in the Saturday Night Thunder Discord server, the official link provided in the description below. We'd love to have you join the fun here at SNT. And in addition, be sure to join the fun on FTN. Our Road to Pro coverage begins this Thursday at the Daytona International Speedway. We'd love to have you there as we look forward to the top level of virtual sim racing, qualifying for the most important series in all of iRacing's oval ranks. So be sure to check us out live on FTN. As always, I've been David Kreutz, commentating and producing, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Until next time on FTN, which will be Monday night with the Integrity Ignite series, we hope to see you all whenever we're live on FTN. Thank you all for your immense support, and we can't wait to see you on our next broadcast.